Inside William and Kate's secret plan to modernize the monarchy. For centuries, the British monarchy ran on one rule: tradition first, feelings second. But William and Kate are quietly breaking that rule, and it might be the only thing keeping the crown relevant to a generation that doesn't automatically respect it. Today, we're going deep inside their real, documented strategy to modernize a 1,000-year-old institution, piece by piece, decision by decision. Before we continue further, please like and subscribe to this channel to receive more information. To understand why William and Kate are changing the playbook, you have to understand the problem they inherited. Public affection for the monarchy has been slowly eroding for years, especially among people under 40. Scandals involving other royals, questions about the institution's cost to taxpayers, and a general cultural shift away from deference to inherited power have all chipped away at its foundation. William and Kate didn't create this problem. But as the future king and queen, they're the ones who have to solve it, or at least manage it. And 2024 became an unexpected turning point. In March 2024, Catherine, Princess of Wales, broke royal precedent by revealing her cancer diagnosis directly to the public in a personal video message. For an institution built on controlled silence and formal statements issued through palace press offices, this was almost unheard of. She later announced in January that she was in remission after completing treatment, describing the relief of reaching that point while noting it takes time to adjust to a new normal. That kind of candid, first-person honesty from a future queen represented a real break from how the family had handled personal crises in the past. The public response was overwhelming sympathy and support, proof that transparency, even about something as private as illness, could actually strengthen the bond between the royal family and the public rather than weaken it. That lesson didn't go unnoticed inside the palace. What happened next tells you everything about the new strategy. Control the pace, control the message. Kate didn't rush back into public life. Kensington Palace initially kept her 2025 engagements strictly embargoed, with some appearances, like her visit to the Royal Marsden Hospital, and not announced ahead of time at all. Prince William, meanwhile, gave the public just enough insight to keep them invested without oversharing. He described Kate as gradually returning to duties after a stretch of very difficult months for their family. Simple, human language, a world away from the stiff formality royals usually reserve for talking about each other publicly. By 2026, that cautious approach had evolved into something more confident. The couple made a joint appearance at Charing Cross Hospital as patrons of NHS charities together, meeting staff and volunteers to discuss pressures during the winter virus season. It was a full-circle moment, using their platform to support the very kind of care that had supported their own family. Here's where the modernization plan becomes most visible. Commentators tracking Kate's public schedule have noticed a clear pattern emerge in 2026. Fewer minor, routine engagements, and a much sharper focus on major, high-visibility moments designed to project stability. She made a solo visit to Evelina London Children's Hospital, where she's been a patron since 2018, and returned to Royal Ascot after missing it in 2025 while still recovering. She also joined William at the Order of the Garter service at St. George's Chapel in June. Each appearance felt curated, not just another item on a checklist, but a deliberate reintroduction of the future queen to the public stage. This is a very modern approach to public image. Instead of trying to be everywhere, be strategically visible where it counts most. It's the same logic modern brands and public figures use to build trust without burning out their audience's attention. It's not just about image, their actual responsibilities are expanding too. Starting in spring 2026, William and Kate stepped into new roles as grantors of royal warrants, a title granted by King Charles. This gives them the formal authority to endorse companies that have supplied the royal household consistently for years, a role previously reserved for the king and queen consort alone. It might sound like a minor administrative detail, but symbolically, it's significant. It signals that Charles is gradually transferring institutional authority to William and Kate ahead of schedule, treating them less like heirs waiting in the wings, and more like active co-managers of the monarchy's public-facing business. One of the clearest modernization moves is how Kate has approached her philanthropy. Rather than spreading herself thin across dozens of scattered causes, the old royal model, she's built a focused, personal brand around one mission: early childhood development, through her Center for Early Childhood. In 2026, she took her first solo international trip since finishing treatment, traveling to Florence and Reggio Emilia in Italy to study early childhood education methods. Aides suggest her future work will keep centering on early childhood and the human connections she believes are eroding in a screen-dominated culture. When she returned from that trip, her reported response to staff was a simple, forward-looking question about what's next. This is a very 21st century approach to royal duty, the same one modern nonprofit leaders and public advocates use. Pick one lane, become the recognized voice in it, and let that focus build long-term credibility rather than diluting your impact across too many causes. William has been running his own version of this strategy for years through the Earthshot Prize, his environmental initiative. Like Kate's early years focus, it's built around one big, clear mission rather than the traditional scattershot patronage model older royals used. Together, William and Kate represent something new: royals who function less like ceremonial figureheads attending ribbon cuttings and more like modern public figures building sustained, mission-driven platforms, closer to how a philanthropist or an NGO founder operates than how a 20th century royal did. Perhaps the most quietly radical shift is how they're raising George, Charlotte, and Louis. Compared to past generations, the family has leaned into a far more relatable, grounded image: normal outings, visible affection, and reportedly, a family unit that's grown closer through the pressure of Kate's illness. This matters more than it might seem. A monarchy that feels distant and untouchable struggles to stay relevant to a public increasingly skeptical of inherited privilege. A monarchy that feels human, even while remaining formally regal, has a much better shot at surviving the next 50 years. Put all of this together: cautious but honest communication, sharpened public appearances, expanding formal authority, focused philanthropic missions, and a genuinely more relatable family image, and you get a monarchy quietly rebuilding its relevance from the inside out. It's not a dramatic revolution. There's no press conference declaring the monarchy is modernizing. It's incremental, careful, and strategic. But William and Kate may be writing the actual blueprint that determines whether the British monarchy still matters a generation from now. So here's the real question: is this genuine change, or just smarter palace PR, wearing the mask of authenticity? Let me know your take in the comments. And if you want the full deep dive into Kate's health journey and what it means for the future of the crown, that video is linked right. Please subscribe to this channel for more information about the royal family, and drop your comments on the comments section.